Hey there, health lovers. Welcome to The Scoop, where we serve you straight nutrition talk, one scoop at a time. I'm Rachel. I'm a dietitian. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 2 busy boys, and I am a big fan of making small, healthy changes that can lead to big results. So grab your coffee, your water bottle, or even your afternoon snack and settle in. We're about to dive into today's scoop. And trust me, these simple tips are going to make healthy living feel a whole lot easier. Let's get started. Any and all opinions and views shared by hosts and guests on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the views of Live It Up or its affiliates or parent company. Hey, welcome back to The Scoop, serving you straight nutrition talk, one scoop at a time. I'm Rachel. I am a registered dietitian and a nutrition expert. And today we're talking intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, also abbreviated as IF, is a very popular diet right now. And I get it. Most people skip breakfast anyway, so might as well make it official and eat just lunch and dinner. But does it work? Is it healthy? Are there any drawbacks? Let's get into it. Most people know that intermittent fasting is eating for less time. The most important thing in this diet is time frame. It can restrict either when you eat or how much you eat or both. So one type has you eating normally just within a specific time frame, such as 8 hours. Someone might choose the window of 9 to 5, for example. The other approach alternates between eating days and fasting days. But you're not fully fasting. You choose like 2 or more days out of the week that are not consecutive and cut way back, as in like 400 to 600 calories only per day. And then you eat normally on the other days of the week. So just make sure that if this is something you're going to try, that your low days are not consecutive, that you make sure that there is at least one normal eating day between the two. Does it work for weight loss? Short-term studies show that yes, it may work for weight loss and that it may work better for some people than other diets work for those people. And this may be because you don't have to really track calories, which can be pretty tedious and hard to stick to. You just eat normally within the time guidelines. Other studies show that it may help reduce risk factors linked to chronic diseases like unhealthy blood lipid levels or inflammation, and that it may also be linked to improved cognitive function. Now, another reason why people gravitate toward this diet pattern is because animal and cell studies show some interesting results in terms of it slowing the aging process. And the hypothesis here is that in the fasted state, cells may increase the mechanisms that help reduce inflammation. Other than an easy way to restrict calories, our bodies are actually designed to specifically eat just during the sunlight hours. Yep. Just like our natural sleep cycle, our digestive system has its own circadian rhythm. In fact, every organ in your body has its own circadian rhythm. It wants to work at certain times and it wants to rest at other times. For our digestive tract, just like us, it prefers to work during the day and rest at night. So when we introduce food to the system outside of its working hours, it can cause slower movement through the stomach and digestive tract, so slower motility. It can cause difficulty breaking down and absorbing nutrients, and even cause changes in electrolyte balance. Eating at night, when the gut needs to rest and when our metabolism naturally slows down, ultimately this changes how we are able to process and absorb food and nutrients. And it can often lead to weight gain. And we see this actually in day-to-day life. Night shift workers, they have kind of messed with their circadian rhythm, and that plays a role here. Night shift workers can eat the same amount of food as a day shift worker, and yet they may have much more difficulty maintaining a healthy weight. Also, research shows that night shift may actually cause dysbiosis, which is when the balance of our gut bacteria changes, causing less of the good ones and more of the harmful ones. and this can lead to more inflammation. So intermittent fasting can be a good way to help prevent eating at night. This is, of course, as long as the eating window aligns with daylight hours. If your intermittent fasting doesn't end until later in the evening, you may want to consider moving it earlier. In fact, a more recent study indicated that an earlier eating window that closes by 5:30 p.m. was much more beneficial in terms of helping manage body composition and blood glucose and other positive markers. So that's something to keep in mind if this is something you want to try out. Just because you have flexibility within the eating window does not give you free rein to eat whatever you want. In fact, depending on how much you can pack in and what you decide to eat, you might not actually lose weight. So 8 hours of time is still plenty of time to eat more calories than what your body needs. So even if you're going to try this, make sure you're still choosing whole foods most often, plenty of vegetables to fill you up, enough protein so that you're not losing muscle mass, enough healthy fats to support your hormones, and enough fiber to feed your gut and keep you regular. Remember the 80-20 rule like we talked about before, even when following a time-restricted eating pattern like this comes into play. 80% of the time, you're eating a balanced meal. So a balance of whole foods to support you physically. 80% of the time, 20% of the time, you're eating the foods that fulfill you emotionally. As an interesting side note, compared to a regular calorie-restricted diet, where over the course of a year, people ate the same amount of calories, just one group ate in a time-restricted pattern, and the other group ate the same amount of calories, but they ate it whenever they wanted throughout the day. Both groups lost about the same amount of weight, and they had similar benefits in terms of blood pressure, glucose, and lipids. So all else being equal, intermittent fasting may not make you lose more weight than following a regular calorie deficit that doesn't include a time frame. So is IF, intermittent fasting, right for you? That all depends. Everyone has individual needs and goals. You can certainly give it a try, but know that it doesn't work for everyone. So if you're finding yourself getting off course too much, you may want to switch courses and try something else. All right, micro habit time. Do you want to set them? Not everyone would want to set a micro habit around intermittent fasting, so don't feel pressure on this one. If you do, write it down. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? What do you need from this? Remember, it's all about small steps. So you can go into this and say, my small step is I'm going to try intermittent fasting for 1 week and see how it goes. It's really hard to take small steps and implement intermittent fasting slowly, though you potentially could. If you work out a lot and on those days you think intermittent fasting wouldn't work for you, you can certainly kind of push it aside and say, I'll do intermittent fasting on these days of the week, and on these other days, I'm going to, eat a little bit more. Maybe you have a longer day and it's harder to stay fueled with just eating in 8 hours. Listen, you can make it however it fits best for you. And in fact, being flexible like that can make it more sustainable. So let me know, are you going to try intermittent fasting? Have you tried it in the past? I would love to know how it goes for you or if it helped you achieve your goals.